Survival. It's one of gaming's oldest instincts, but not every game gets it right. Some games make it easy, hand-holding tutorials, generous loot drops, endless respawns. But others, they make you earn every single breath. Today we're counting down 10 survival games that go beyond crafting and hunger bars. These are the ones that push you to your limit, with realism, atmosphere, and pure, brutal immersion. From icy wastelands to sweltering jungles to the depths of human despair, these are the games that will test your might. Let's dive in. At number 10, we have Green Hell. Stranded deep in the Amazon jungle, you're fighting not just for food and shelter, but for your sanity. Green Hell doesn't pull any punches. From the moment you wake up surrounded by endless roar of insects and the oppressive humidity, the jungle becomes your enemy. Every sound could be a predator. Every plant could be poison. Every mistake, a death sentence. You'll need to think like a true survivalist, balancing your intake of proteins, fats, carbs, and hydration, while keeping an eye on your mental stability. Neglect one, and your body begins to fail you. Go too long without sleep, and you start to hear whispers in the dark, hallucinations that blur the line between reality and madness. And when you get hurt, there's no quick fix. You'll have to inspect your body manually, peeling back the layers of grime and blood to find leeches, infections, or festering wounds. Every injury has weight. Every decision carries consequence, whether you're crafting bandages from plant fiber or boiling water to avoid parasites. The world itself is alive. Storms flood your camp, wildlife stalks your scent, and tribal drums echo through the canopy, reminding you that you're never truly safe. Green Hell is equal parts survival simulator and psychological horror, a brutal reflection of how fragile the human mind becomes when nature strips away comfort. If you want a survival experience that feels microbiologically and psychologically real, Green Hell earns its place at number 10. At number 9, we have Medieval Dynasty, a survival game that drops you into the unforgiving countryside of medieval Europe, where life is brutal, simple, and short. There are no monsters or mutants to fight, just hunger, cold, and the crushing weight of survival in a world that doesn't care if you make it through the winter. You start with nothing, no shelter, no tools, no wealth, only your bare hands and the will to build something that lasts. You'll hunt game in dense forests, gather berry and herbs, and till the soil with crude hand-forged tools that wear down as quickly as your stamina. Seasons bring real consequences. Crops die in the frost, animals migrate, and your food supplies rot if you're not prepared. But Medieval Dynasty isn't just about surviving another night, it's about building a life. As years pass, you expand your village, take a wife, raise children, and turn your small wooden hut into the foundation of an entire dynasty. You manage villagers, balance taxes, diplomacy, and resources, all while fighting off the fatigue of a life that never slows down. It's survival in its purest and most grounded form, not about combat, but endurance. The true enemy isn't the world around you, it's time, hunger, and the endless grind of keeping your family, your farm, and your legacy alive. For survival in the ancient world, this one hits hard. Coming in at number 8, we have Ancestors: The Humankind Odyssey. It throws you millions of years in the past, before humanity, before civilization, when survival meant pure instinct. You begin as an early hominid in the heart of prehistoric Africa, a world filled with predators, disease, and danger lurking in every tree. There's no tutorial, no HUD full of stats, just your senses, your clan, and the jungle around you. You'll learn through trial and error, how to climb, forage, and defend yourself from leopards and snakes. Every discovery teaches your species something new, unlocking neural connections, and let you evolve generation by generation. You'll teach your offspring how to use tools, craft weapons, and communicate, slowly pushing the boundaries of what your species can do. And that's what makes it so unique. Survival isn't just about staying alive, it's about becoming something more. It's raw, primal, and deeply immersive. A survival game where evolution itself is the ultimate reward. If you want a taste of what survival looked like before fire, before speech, and before civilization, Ancestors: The Humankind Odyssey delivers. At number 7, we have Project Zomboid, a hardcore isometric survival experience where every choice you make brings you one step closer to life or death. On the surface, it's a zombie game, but in truth, it's one of the most brutally authentic survival simulations ever made. You don't play to win, you play to see how long you can last before the world finally catches up to you. Hunger, thirst, exhaustion, depression, even boredom, all chip away at your will to live. Get bitten and infection spreads like wildfire. Leave a wound untreated and you'll watch it fester as your health slowly drains away. Every item has a purpose, every sound a consequence. A slammed door might alert a nearby horde, a kitchen knife might be the difference between another sunrise or your last breath. Power grids fail, water stops running, food rots, and as days turn into weeks, the world itself decays with you. You'll have to board up houses, scavenge for food, boil water, and keep your mental state intact, all while knowing that eventually you will die. Because that's the philosophy behind Project Zomboid. Not if you die, but how you die. It's a sandbox of inevitable doom, and your job is simply to delay it for as long as you can. Zombies aside, this is a survival simulation in its rawest, most punishing form. At number 6, we have The Forest, a survival horror experience that begins with a violent plane crash and a single desperate question: where is your son? You wake up in the wreckage surrounded by dense wilderness, no map, no compass, and no help coming. The forest itself is alive. Trees sway with the wind, rain floods your campfire, and shadows dance between the trees as the sun sets. You'll need to scavenge wreckage for supplies, hunt for food, and craft shelter before nightfall, because when darkness hits, the island changes. Strange figures emerge from the tree line, pale, human-like, and disturbingly intelligent. They watch from a distance, studying you, testing your boundaries before attacking. It's not just about survival, it's about the fear of isolation, the unknown, and what's lurking just beyond your torchlight. Every system matters. Hunger, stamina, warmth, sleep, all must be managed if you want to make it another night. And as you explore deeper, you uncover clues to a much darker secret buried beneath the island. A secret that blurs the line between survival and nightmare. The Forest takes realistic survival mechanics and fuses them with primal terror, forcing you to balance logic with fear. It's tense, unpredictable, and brutally immersive. Realistic enough to get your heart racing, and survival mechanics serious enough to matter. Halfway through the list at number 5, we have Neo Scavenger, a turn-based survival game that proves you don't need flashy graphics to make a world feel deadly. The setup is simple. You wake up in a ruined Earth, cold, injured, and completely alone. You have nothing but a hospital gown, a few scraps, and the instincts to survive. But Neo Scavenger doesn't hold your hand. Every decision, every movement on the map could be your last. Hunger gnaws at you, your body temperature drops, wounds get infected, and even drinking from the wrong puddle could mean death. It's a slow burn, you plan your every move carefully, scavenging through abandoned cities, hoping to find clean water, a working lighter, or maybe a decent pair of shoes before nightfall. The turn-based system makes every action feel deliberate. Move too far and you'll collapse from exhaustion. Skip a meal and your body begins to shut down. Combat is quick, brutal, and realistic. Injuries linger, weapons break, and even a minor cut can kill you if ignored long enough. And unlike most survival games, there's no sense of power fantasy here, just the harsh reality of trying to exist in a world that's already lost. Neo Scavenger rewards patience, observation, and caution. Every tiny success feels earned because every mistake is punished. It's tense, methodical, and brutally unforgiving, and that's exactly what makes it one of the most realistic survival experiences ever made. At number 4, we have RimWorld, a colony survival simulator that turns human behavior into one of the hardest survival mechanics of all. You begin stranded on an alien planet with a handful of survivors and almost no supplies. From there, you'll build, adapt, and fight to keep your people alive in a world that never stops testing them. Food runs out, temperatures drop, raiders attack, but it's not just the environment that breaks you, it's the people. Each colonist has their own needs, fears, and mental quirks. A single tragedy, a friend's death, starvation, or illness can push someone over the edge. One colonist might turn violent during a mental break, another might spiral into depression, and before you know it, your entire camp is falling apart from within. You'll manage their moods as much as their hunger, trying to keep morale high while the planet itself tries to kill you. RimWorld thrives on its unpredictability. Every playthrough unfolds like a story, not written by you, but by the chaos of random events and human emotion colliding. It's not just about building walls or crafting weapons, it's about keeping fragile human beings sane long enough to survive one more day. And that's what makes RimWorld special. Survival here isn't just about staying alive, it's about holding your community together when everything wants to tear it apart. At number 3, we have This War of Mine, a survival game that turns the genre on its head by stripping away the fantasy of being the hero. You're not a soldier, you're not armed or trained, you're just an ordinary civilian trying to survive in a city torn apart by war. Each day brings the same cruel routine, scavenging through ruins for food, medicine, or a few scraps of wood to keep your shelter warm. The constant hunger, freezing nights, and threat of snipers make every moment feel fragile. You're not fighting to win, you're just trying to make it to tomorrow. But what truly sets This War of Mine apart are the moral choices. Do you steal from a hopeless old couple to feed your starving friends? Do you risk your life to save a stranger's child? There's no right answer, only guilt, necessity, and survival. Your group's morale can crumble as quickly as your supplies, and depression can be just as lethal as hunger. The haunting art style, the quiet sound of rain against broken windows, and the heavy silence after a difficult decision all remind you that war doesn't need monsters to be horrifying. This War of Mine makes survival deeply human, raw, emotional, and painfully real. It reminds us that survival isn't always about conquering nature. Sometimes, it's about enduring the cruelty of humanity itself. At number 2, we have Unreal World, a true cult classic and one of the most authentic survival simulations ever made. Set in Iron Age Finland, it drops you into a frozen wilderness where every step, every breath, and every decision could mean the difference between life and death. You'll track animals through the snow by reading subtle signs, bent grass, faint prints, and a patch of blood where something struggled. Hunting isn't simple, it's patient work. You stalk, you wait, you build traps, and you pray the weather holds before the storm rolls in. Seasons change the rules completely. Spring floods down your campsites, summers bring swarms of insects, and winters are a constant battle against starvation and frostbite. There are no flashy HUDs or pop-ups here, you survive by observation. Watching wind patterns, studying footprints, remembering which herbs cure which wounds. Unreal World was doing realism decades before it became a trend, complete with detailed crafting, trading, and even the cultural ritual of early Finnic tribes. Every hour feels earned, every mistake permanent. There's no modern convenience, no fast travel, only you, the wilderness, and time itself. Unreal World distills survival to its purest essence, raw, slow, and profoundly immersive. At number 1, we have The Long Dark, the gold standard for survival realism. You awaken after a geomagnetic storm has silenced the modern world. No power, no help, just endless snow, biting wind, and the sound of wolves howling somewhere in the distance. The Canadian wilderness stretches out before you, hauntingly beautiful, but merciless. Every second is a fight against nature itself. You'll need to monitor everything: body temperature, hunger, thirst, fatigue, even the weight of what you're carrying. A single mistake, a frozen wound, a misfire, a night without shelter, can end you. The world doesn't care that you're cold, it doesn't care that you're lost, it simply is. Fire becomes your only friend, light your only comfort. You'll scavenge cabins, melt snow for water, and ration every crumb of food as the days stretch into weeks of isolation. There's no supernatural twist here, no easy way out, just the brutal honesty of man versus nature. And that's what makes The Long Dark so unforgettable. It's not just about staying alive, it's about enduring silence, loneliness, and the creeping realization that no one's coming to save you. Every system, every sound, every heartbeat in this game reinforces one truth: survival is not glorious, it's desperate. The Long Dark is survival distilled to its purest and hardest form, and that's why it stands as the definitive number 1. Which of these games do you think would break you first? Would it be the brutal cold of The Long Dark, the psychological descent of Green Hell, or the moral collapse in This War of Mine? Drop your pick in the comments below. I want to hear which one you think you'd actually survive. And if you enjoyed this list, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more weekly gaming deep dives. Thanks for watching, stay sharp, stay alive, and survive.